So good afternoon, everybody. We have today with us Toni. Is it spelled Orans?
Yes, it's pronounced
Orans.
Orans.
Is that like a Middle Eastern name or
No,
no?
it's actually not. It's Russian.
Oh, it's a Russian name.
Yeah,
Okay.
it had been Orinsky.
Orinsky.
So it
That's what
got
I mean. Yeah.
it had gotten
Somebody.
shortened.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
the ski are from
that's
Russia, the Eastern Europe. Okay.
that's right. Yes,
Okay. So Orans is much easier too.
it is easier, and actually, it gets pronounced differently depending on who's saying it.
Oh.
And sometimes I even say it differently, depending on the context in which it's being said.
Okay. So
There's
you say
no.
sometimes Oran? No. No.
I sometimes say Orans
Orans.
instead of Orans.
Okay.
Orans.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All this makes sense. So it's a pleasure to have you show up today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is really
Yeah.
going to be fun.
Yes,
I'm
so
really
I was going to
excited.
head to Civic Center, but then it was 1 o'clock. I say, well, give me only half an hour there.
Oh.
So I didn't want to cut it short.
Sure,
So I
sure.
decided to just do it. I didn't know about the Civic Center until like 2 hours ago. And then
Oh.
I didn't want to go to the Alamo Square because
Right.
there's going to be some clashes, right? But there's heavy security.
Yeah, and there's definitely heavy-duty helicopters up above.
Oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
all being broadcast worldwide, I guess.
I'm sure.
So, despite that, yeah, the buses were derouted. Did you take the bus?
No, I actually drove here from the East Bay.
Okay, okay. Because I took the 22 and I got derouted. Because
Oh, you did?
Yes,
Oh,
I did.
got it. Okay.
So, but I still got here on time because I left early. So, if I remember well, Toni, you do many things like me. One of them is you are a voice over person.
Yes.
And you're
Yeah.
a coach too of the voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And you enjoy doing that?
I love doing it. I actually got into voice work because I'm an actor. So I'm primarily an actor, although I've been spending much more time focusing in on the voice work. And then I've taken a break as well from the voice work for a long period
Yeah.
over the last couple of years. And just in the last 7 or 8 months, I'm starting to get back into it again.
Okay.
So I was doing it for many years before that. And
You
I've
read books? Is that what you do?
I narrate books, I do documentary narration, I do commercial spots, e-learning projects, promotional videos for people's websites.
Oh, to do the voiceover over
Yes,
the
I
video.
even do animation too. I do animated characters as well. It's very fun.
Oh, because you're an actress, so you can
Yeah.
imitate some voices.
I don't actually imitate voices, I create my own voices.
Oh,
So I pick up on a character and I have a whole character in mind, and through my own visual in my head
Of the person.
of the person or the character, I start creating the voice, if you know what I mean. I just get a sense of how that person might sound
okay.
and then go with that.
So, and you learned the British accent in England?
Yeah, I guess I did. I was in England for a few years. I did my drama training. Well, I had started drama training when I was very young in New York. And then I
Yeah.
continued in London for...
And that's where you learned the accent.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So in fact, when I came back to the States after I'd been in Europe for a number of years, it was very hard for me to say that I was actually American because people heard the British accent and
Oh, you
I had,
caught it.
I
You
had
caught
kept
it.
on, I had kept with that.
Yeah.
And then within about a year or two, it just kind of disappeared.
Wow.
It just disappeared. It's interesting. I can get it back, and I especially fall into it when I'm with Brits. In fact, I was recently my British. I have a sister who landed in Paris, in London, and she has been in London ever since. And so
When she speaks to you, she has a high.
her British accent is not. It's very mixed. Her accent,
Oh, okay.
really mixed, and she's not.
American and British. Okay.
She's still very American, but she's got a little bit of a British
Something.
sound, something, character to
You get
to
it,
her
yeah.
sound. But when I just recently saw her son, both of her sons were raised in London, and he was just here visiting with his family. And I got right back into speaking with a little bit of my English accent, which was fun to do.
Sometimes they do request a British accent in some documentaries, right? No?
Yeah, well, it just really depends. I did something, this is a number of years ago, and it was, they wanted a British accent, and it was very, very upper class.
Wow.
And they really wanted very BBC.
Oh.
BBC voice.
Okay.
And so, and right now, that sounds terrible what I'm doing right now because I'm so all over the place, and so you can't judge me for that. But when I'm focused, and I'm actually working in my studio, and I've got a script in front of me,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to get into it.
Yeah, you can pick up the record of what it sounds like.
Yeah, you get the intonations and where you need to go up and down with your voice, because it's not just how you say the words. So much of it has to do with inflection, of course. And I find that if I'm having a conversation like we are right now, it's very hard to just fall into it.
Switch again.
However, when I'm, like I said, focused and having to do a piece of dialogue or some script, I get right into it then.
Awesome. This is so
fun.
So good to know that some people can imitate not only accent but personalities.
Yeah.
I mean, have you done stand-up too, or no?
No, I haven't done stand-up. I often think it would be really fun to do stand-up, but I haven't really gotten into creating a show for that purpose.
Oh,
And,
you have to write the script.
well, yeah, at this point in time, I would probably need to write my own script.
Yeah, you start for 5 minutes,
Exactly.
and then you develop more material, and then
Right.
you add on to it.
Right.
Until you have your
Yes.
maybe 15 minutes.
Exactly.
15 minutes is plenty.
It sure is.
Yeah,
Right.
because to talk all by yourself on a monologue for 15 minutes is more than enough.
Right. Absolutely.
Just if you can do 5 minutes is a lot.
That's right. Exactly.
So it's something to experiment.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be fun to do, and I've often thought about creating my own material and doing a one-person show as opposed to doing stand-up, which is definitely a different format, obviously.
Yeah, you gotta see what makes people laugh.
Yeah. Well, and with a one-person show, I don't necessarily feel like I would need to do just humor.
Oh.
So with a one-person show, it's a different way of looking at it. So it's not about telling jokes or making people laugh necessarily.
Yeah.
For me, a one-person show has to do with being real and being truthful, which is what an actor is always trying to do anyway on stage.
Okay.
But it's also about sharing some of your story, which isn't always funny,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So that's...
Oh, yeah. People take actually the dark side of their life and turn it around, make people laugh about it.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
There is that.
Like they make fun of themselves.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's what comedy is about.
And that's true. Exactly.
You make people laugh about you.
Right. Right.
About your misadventures or your whatever you did wrong in life, and then you laugh at yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so many people go on to do stupid things, and then the best way to cure it is to laugh about it.
That's right. Exactly. And we need more laughter, especially right now.
Oh yeah, well, you
Right?
mean the seriousness of the news and all that.
Yes, exactly. Laughter is really important.
Oh, yeah, because today there'll be speeches. I don't know if they're going to add a little humor to those.
Probably not.
Because it's pretty serious topic.
It's pretty serious stuff that's going on. Yeah, absolutely.
So to get out of what's so serious, we need to, at night, maybe go and change our records.
Right. Get out there and dance up a storm as well.
Yeah. Do you watch Comedy Central on Netflix?
I don't have Comedy Central. I do watch some funny stuff, but it's often I find that what a lot of people consider humorous, I don't necessarily think is funny.
Okay, so you have your own humor.
Yeah, I do have
And
my
also
own humor.
humor in Europe is different than humor in America.
Exactly. It really is.
So if you show American humor to a European, doesn't find anything funny
Absolutely.
because he cannot connect.
Right, exactly.
But
And just the other way around,
it's the other way
right?
around. If I say a joke or I try to be funny my own way, the European way, people say,
It's hard to translate, right? It's hard
that too.
you know?
That too. There's also a play with words.
Right, exactly.
And if you cannot play with words by translating, then it's only good for your language.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can do just English. I guess that's your main language.
Yes, I do speak un peu français.
Vous parlez un peu français.
Un peu français. J'essaie, oui.
Du-
Mais il est très difficile pour moi.
Oh, okay. So it's rusted. It's a rusted French.
It's very rusty. Yes, extremely rusty. Although when I'm in France, I get back into speaking it. I was actually a little bit more fluent. Well, not, I would never say I'm fluent, sorry. But I was a little bit more able to speak in Dutch because
Wow.
I lived in Amsterdam
Okay.
as well. So
Okay.
and I did some Dutch classes. So I was able to speak more Dutch than I was French.
Mm.
But when I spent time in France, I found that I was picking it up very quickly because of course I had studied it years before. So that
Did
made
you
it
watch
much easier.
Did you watch some French humor on TV? No.
No,
You
not
didn't
really.
have time.
No, well, it wasn't about time. It was just that I couldn't really understand what they were talking about.
Oh,
It
it's
was
too
frustrating.
fast. It's
too fast.
Oh
you
my
know?
god. Oh my god.
And just try to get, have the French slow down. Well, it's like Americans. Americans
Yeah.
speak
Even
very
for French
rapidly as
people,
well.
you gotta know what they're talking about to even laugh
Exactly.
about it.
Yes, right.
So, especially when we have some people who play with words,
Yeah.
if you don't know that, then you're totally lost.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's more like not only advanced, but it's above advanced
Yeah.
French. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when you know all the nuances. You know.
Right.
So you probably intermediate French.
Oh,
Not even?
I don't think, maybe years ago I could have said I was intermediate level.
Now you're
but
beginner.
Now I'm more of a beginner again.
Did
We'll
you spend
see.
like 3 months there?
You know, I've been there a number of times, so I was never there for 3 months at a time, but
Okay.
I was probably there for a few weeks one time and another couple of weeks another time over a number of years. So I've been there numerous times. I just,
Okay.
you
You
know,
just pick up and then forget,
yeah,
pick up and then forget.
exactly. And it's the same with Dutch. I mean, my Dutch used to be much better than it is now.
Oh,
So I can speak some Dutch, and I sound pretty good, I think, is what my Dutch friends have said to me. Wow, it's good, Toni, but at the same time, I cannot really carry on a conversation, in depth by any means. I can ask for that garlic, that knopflook. Knopflook. It's the strangest word, but it's such a great word. It's garlic in Dutch.
Wow.
Knopflook.
wow.
Who knew?
You remember. That's
I
that's
know,
amazing.
it's like, where did that come from?
Oh, it's
Ik
amazing.
wil een kleine knopflok, alsjeblieft.
Ah.
I would
Do you
like
have a few Dutch friends here? I met a few.
No, I don't have any. Well, I have a friend up in above the Bay Area in
Yeah.
Mendocino,
Yeah.
who's not Dutch, but she and I knew each other in Amsterdam, and she now lives in Mendocino, which is where I used to live.
So occasionally you have a little 5 minute. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, hoe gaat het? But I'm actually about to see one of my closest Dutch friends. I'm going to be seeing her in a couple of weeks. We're meeting up in Arizona. I'm very
Wow,
excited.
that's very good.
She's coming to spend a bit of time in Arizona, and I'm meeting up with her. So
Yeah, that should
Be
be
great.
fun.
Be
There
really
should be a warm weather and all that.
oh, it'll be warm weather, I think, definitely.
Yeah, if you go before winter.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into doing voiceover? You were presented with the job and you accepted it, and then there was training on the job.
How much time do we have?
Okay, no. How did you get your first gig? How about that?
Okay. Well, all right. So I started out as an actor, as I mentioned.
Okay.
So I'm a classically trained actor.
Yeah.
And of course, within the training, there was definitely voice work that was done. Although
Okay.
at the time, I was very young. I was not real interested in doing it professionally. I really wanted to be an actor. I wasn't interested in just the voice. I wasn't able to see the possibilities of having a mic as my stage. So what ended up happening was many, many, many years later, after my training, and I had done lots of theater by that time, I had done a little bit of voice work. Actually, I was teaching in San Francisco for many years, and one of my students was doing a documentary and thought it would be great if I would do the narration on that documentary.
Okay.
And so that was probably the first thing I ever did.
And you said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, that could be fun. I'll do that.
You know, all the American sitcom I played in France with voiceover.
Oh, of
with
course.
the voiceover
Sure.
Translated
Yes,
in French.
dubbed in, yeah.
And it's amazing. You almost cannot tell that it's a voiceover. It's
Yeah.
in French.
Yeah.
But they synchronize the lips perfectly.
Yeah. And that's really a skill for the person who's synchronizing it as well as the voice actor.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
They got a match to the second.
Well, they're trying to match it, and then I guess I haven't done hardly anything like that ever, but they do match it, I understand, and it's a very specialized field, so not just anybody can do that.
Okay. So, yeah, so I was amazed when I saw it. I say, you would think it was recorded in French. It's just
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, that's
the
great.
timing, even though like one sentence in English is like two sentences in French.
Right.
So whoever does the translation is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it's really very skillful for everybody, I think.
Yeah,
who's
because
involved in that.
everything, if you take a 4 line in English, you'll see 8 line in French on the translation.
Oh, right.
So,
Wow.
so I don't know how they do it so that if it would fit time-wise the same way. But I guess some people are experts.
Yeah. That's what they're doing on a regular basis, so they really know what they're doing.
Yeah. So have you
Important.
also done translation? No, that's not your
No,
cup of tea.
no.
Okay, so your cup of tea is more like voiceover a sitcom? No.
No, what I've done with my voiceover is, all right. So I did that little project I mentioned before, the
documentary.
documentary. That was many years ago.
Okay.
And then I guess I did a little animation at some point. But when I really first got how fantastic it would be to do voice work,
You said I want to do more of it.
I heard a radio show. This is when I was living up in Mendocino County. I heard a radio show
Yeah.
on the local public radio station, and it was a storytelling hour.
Okay.
And I thought, I bet you this would be something that would be really fun to do. And I inquired and said, I've done all this work. I'm an actor, and I do different voices and characters, and I would love to do some of the books on the air. And they said, yes, of course, come on in, and we'll train you on the equipment. And next thing you know, I was doing that show. It was called Stories for All Ages, and I did it. It was an hour-long show weekly that I did for about 7 years.
My goodness.
So I narrated over 50 books, and
So that's a lot of work.
that was a lot of work. And when I was doing, I did both stories for children as well as stories for adults.
Wow.
Okay, so because it was called Stories for All Ages. And I thought it was important that everybody, as much as I could possibly choose stories that everybody would be interested in. So I did a lot of the classics,
Oh.
A Little Princess, Alice in Wonderland. I did Through the Looking Glass, Charlotte's Web. Those were a lot of the children's books. I also did the first 3 books of Harry Potter.
Wow.
So I did all the character voices, but then I also did a lot of the adult books, which were, of course, not necessarily interesting. They were not ones that would be ones that kids would be interested in, but they were ones for adults. So I would
Okay.
spend 2 or 3 months on just an adult book, and I did a lot of travel essays and autobiographies and biographies.
So by narration, you mean you would read verbatim the book?
Yeah, read the-
Verbatim.
verbatim.
Okay.
With all the character
and then they will
voices.
sell it on Audible, on
No,
Amazon?
those were not sold. Those were just for the radio. They were just
Okay.
for the listening audience for the radio,
Oh.
and they were never sold.
Oh.
These were just
And it was accessible online? No,
no, they're not accessible online.
they were not. Okay.
No, but now I'm doing books for Audible. You
Okay.
see, so I have books on Audible now, and the point being of the radio show was that one day I walked out of the studio, and I think I was reading Alice in Wonderland, and I walked out of the studio after an hour, and I thought, wow, how many voices, how many different characters did I just do? And I counted all the different characters in that segment that I think I'd read two chapters
Oh my
maybe
God,
in that 1 hour.
You did how many? You did several characters?
Oh yeah, I would do. So I realized that that particular session I had done 14 character voices. They were
Oh
all
my
different.
God. And you sounded different on all 14.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so that's
with
a
with the
skill.
with the accent.
That's
so,
an
so
amazing skill.
So that's what made me realize, I should really be doing this professionally. This is not only am I think I'm pretty good at it, and I got a lot of people who are really loving listening to the stories.
Oh wow!
But I
couldn't
also
believe this.
it was really fun, and it was fun too because it didn't matter what I looked like.
Oh, because it's voiceover.
Because it's voiceover, it's radio. You don't know who you're reaching out there.
Okay, so now am I listening to your real you?
I don't know. Are you? Maybe.
Oh my God, you
Maybe.
you can do the very.
I can speak with a very French accent.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
try. I don't know if I should try with you because you're very French. And
Yes.
You're the real thing, It's
Oh, I am.
authentique.
I never
Authentique.
changed my character. So you are multiple character. So do you have also multiple personalities?
Yes,
You do.
Well, I'm an actor. My sense is we all have multiple characters and multiple personalities. That's my sense of people. And I've
No, I
studied
mean,
people
are
a
you
lot.
one way with some people and another way with other?
Absolutely.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure. I mean, I'm basically me. We're all just who we are.
Oh.
But then, depending on who we're with,
We change.
We change, right? And depending on what the circumstances, we change.
Okay.
And we use our voice differently, and we use our emotions differently, and we're always constantly being affected by the environment and who we're around. So that's automatically a given that we're going to change our personality as such. I mean, some people are very, neutral, or not neutral, but they're very much themselves, and maybe they're in different circumstances and they're still very much this way. But I find with most people, if you put them in a different environment
with
or
the
something
child,
that's going
with
on,
the child, you're
with
different.
a child or with an animal or
All of a sudden you soften.
you soften, right? Or you start talking in a
Yeah.
very high pitched. Okay,
To
honey.
the
All
level of
right.
the child.
Sure.
Okay.
So there's all these things. We're all affected. I had a wonderful acting teacher in New York when I was first starting my professional training, and Bill Hickey was his name, and he got to be very well known in Hollywood in the movies back in the 70s and 80s. In any case, Bill Hickey, one of the things he would say to us, and I'll never forget it, was that we are all a character. Depending on who you're with, that character is like a jewel or a gemstone. And so depending on who you're with, that
You
person will
change.
see different parts of that gemstone, right? So
okay.
different aspects. And you show a certain aspect.
Of yourself to different people.
Right, exactly. Right? So
Okay.
I'm not the same with you necessarily that I would be with a lover or who
Or
knows.
with a family.
Or with a family member, with my daughter. And yet then again, there's aspects of who I am that are the same.
Okay.
So as an actor, one is trying to blend in and figure out what are those characteristics and what is that character showing right now at this moment with the given circumstances and the emotional makeup.
Oh wow, this is amazing. So this I thought it was the hamsa, but it is not. It's a leaf.
Oh, this is a piece of jewelry. It's one of my daughter's earlier works. She's been making jewelry
Oh,
since she was a
she
young.
is a jeweler.
Well,
Okay.
she's not a jeweler, but she does. Well, actually, she is a jeweler, but she doesn't do it professionally. But should be. This she did when she was 14, I think.
And she gave it to you?
Yeah, I've got a number of pieces over the years, and I treasure her pieces that she's given me.
Oh, okay, okay. No, because it looks a little bit childish, yeah.
She, like I said, she did it when she was maybe 13 or 14.
And you don't mind wearing something that looks childish?
No, I guess I don't think of it as childish.
Oh.
It's just fun.
Oh, it's fun.
I think of it as fun.
It is fun. It's like
I love it, and it's from my daughter.
oh,
who
then
I
it reminds
adore.
you of her.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It fits a little bit.
And I'm a
your
little childish
outfit.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah, it fits your outfit.
It brings out my inner and my outer child.
Oh, okay.
Which I think
okay.
is a good thing.
It fits also your earrings, so it's
Thank
okay.
you.
It
Thank
fits. The colors fits.
Thank you.
They were bought at different time, probably.
Yes.
Okay. And it fits also a little bit the colors of your outfit.
Thank you.
Not too. I mean, it's not off.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
My friends will be proud.
Okay, so you like jewelry then? I see you have also.
I
bracelet.
love jewelry.
You have bracelets
I
and
have
you have
bracelets.
a ring
They all have stories.
and rings.
They all have loads of stories. Yes, I do. This is a really old ring that was given to me by somebody who found it. So if this belongs to anybody, let me know. But it's got a long story. It was found in the park in Amsterdam.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
And they didn't mind giving it to you?
No, he was actually wanting to give it to me, which was very nice.
Oh,
Which was
okay,
very-
okay,
I've had
okay.
it for many, many years.
No, one time we found a real ring with an emerald, a sapphire, and three color real stone, and it was real gold. We found it at the store, and then we didn't want to sell it, so we told the store to put a note. I mean, to find out if anybody would come and ask for it, and we waited and waited and waited, and they didn't. Nobody came and say, "I lost a ring. Do you have it?" So the store say, "Well, it's yours now since nobody claimed it." I mean, after I don't know a month or two.
Yeah, yeah.
But then after waiting so long we misplaced it. But anyway,
Oh.
we ended up losing it.
Oh no.
But I don't know if the real thing should have been to sell it right away. But maybe it was not meant to be sold. But it was probably a real wedding ring. It was real.
Yeah, this is too, actually.
This was too.
Oh yeah, this is real. I had it appraised and everything. It's
Oh my God, it's
definitely
real.
real. Oh yeah, it's real. I didn't know it was real when it was first given to me. Neither of us knew it was real. And so when I saw this guy again, and I said, I just found out my brother-in-law was a jeweler at the time, and he offered to buy it for me. And I said, I'm not going to sell it to you. And I said, I know if you're going to buy it, you're going to
And
resell it.
Did you have to fit it to your finger?
I did. Yeah,
Oh,
I did.
Okay, it's a fit now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So-
easy to lose though.
I know, but I keep this on all the time. It's
Okay,
constantly
no, but
with
when
me.
you do dishes, you take it out?
Nope.
Because I lost my wedding ring in doing dishes.
Yeah, this doesn't come off very easily. I've got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's well there.
yeah. It's well there. It's. I don't have to worry about that.
I used to take off mine all the time
Really?
until I lost
Oh.
it.
See that? You can't take off those precious things.
Yeah,
Well, you can.
I guess it was a mistake to take it off each time.
The thing is not to get too attached, I guess, is the thing, right?
Oh, maybe. So attached to what? To the jewelry?
Yeah, to anything, right? We're
Yeah.
all temporary anyway.
Yeah. Well, the jewelry, if you keep it on 24/7, then if you take it off, you feel something
That's
is
right.
missing.
Exactly.
But if
That's
you
how I
take-
feel about these. I feel like, we're because I don't wear these at night when I sleep, and I take them off, and I don't
You feel something?
Yeah, when I'm during the day, if I haven't put them on, it feels strange. to
Something's
know.
missing.
Yeah, something's definitely missing.
Wow, that's amazing. But yeah, I don't wear jewelry because one time, but because first of all, I lose them. I never kept a watch more than 2 weeks, and the only jewelry I wear was a necklace when I got married, and I lost it, and my ring, and I lost it, and then I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with it. It's everything extra of myself I lose. I lost my camera about 20 times.
Oh, no.
So I do leave things, places.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so it's personality too, to not be attached to objects, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go back to voiceover. What's your next project?
Well, I'm right in the middle right now. I'm working on a book that's almost done. I'm actually almost finished with it. I've done a number of books for this one author. She's really wonderful. She's a
You recorded it.
Yeah, yeah. I record and edit all of it myself, and
Where is it gonna go?
it will be on Audible.
It would be. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So she's got over 20 books that she's written, and I've done several of her books as audiobooks. She's got a few different people who've done audiobooks for her, so I'm one of her readers, and it's a spiritually based book.
Yeah, more and more books are going Audible now.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people
and-
don't like to read anymore; they like to listen.
Exactly. So you can find, I think, almost anything on Audible. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
And when I don't find that on Audible because I like to listen, I say, why don't they put it on Audible?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
know. Maybe the older book are not on Audible.
I don't know. It's interesting. I haven't looked myself if
People
the
in-
classics are.
People like 50 years ago didn't even think about putting their books on Audible. But all the new authors are putting their
Yeah,
books on
absolutely.
Audible.
Although you know that we did have recordings of books from, I think, as early as the 40s
Oh.
on records. Remember records?
Oh, maybe a few people thought about it.
Yeah, there are definitely recordings, and you get recordings with really well-known actors,
Wow.
which were fantastic. And they would get several different actors in the studio and record a record, and they would put them out on 75 RPMs, and so.
Yeah, that made
Isn't
me
that
think
something?
of some movies where we see animated characters with voiceover of very famous people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever see any of those, like ants and all that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's very famous
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
were paid like millions of dollars just
That's
to
right.
do the voiceover.
That's right. Yes.
like
No, it's huge. Voiceover is absolutely huge, and there's so many people who are doing it. I mean, it's the industry has gotten tremendous, and voiceover for audiobooks is just one aspect of it.
oh,
But there are so many different kinds of voiceover.
yeah, if you get like a gig that's very, very well from a very well author, you might get a lot of money for it.
Sure, and most of those books are done by top names in the industry
Oh, okay.
or in the business, I should
Okay.
say.
They prefer to take a recognizable
Yeah,
name.
absolutely. Yeah.
Robin Williams did it, but
Yeah.
I don't. But you are a woman, so they need to find a replacement for him, or
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
who can play.
Nobody can replace Robin Williams.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so. Robin Williams was one of a kind.
Well, he did imitation voices, like
Yeah, but he was brilliant.
oh,
He was absolutely brilliant. He's irreplaceable. Definitely. I mean,
Oh.
there's a few of our greats who I would say, nah, no one's ever going to replace that person. And Robin Williams
he
is
would
definitely
change
one of
voice in the same
He changed.
context.
Oh yeah, he did. He changed everything, and he was quick. He was really fast on his feet.
Oh, okay.
He was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's why people connected with him. I don't know. I mean, I met him in person. He lived
Oh, did you?
9th Avenue and
All the way.
Irving. Yeah,
Yes.
there was a cafe on the corner, and he
Right.
came in with his son. And I say, oh my God, here he is. And he sat right next to me.
Aw.
Nobody bothered him, and I didn't bother him. I recognized him, but unlike other superstars, he didn't have any bodyguard or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just sat there, and everybody recognized him, but left him alone.
Yeah. Good. I'm
That-
glad. Being
yeah.
respectful. It's really important. I think.
Yeah, because it's to be pestered everywhere you go.
Yeah. Would be.
So I
really-
respected him. I say,
Sure.
leave him alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's just like a regular guy.
Yep. Yeah.
He was
Well,
not,
and most people who are top names are regular people. They're just.
No, I mean, he was simple with
Yes.
just khaki pants and
Yeah.
nothing fancy.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's funny that they're very simple from the beginning and they stay simple all the
Yeah.
way up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too bad he sold his home in San Francisco because it used to be a tourist attraction. People would pass his home and say, "Hey, this is Robert Williams."
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Anyway, so you are also, even though you can do different personality, you're also a very happy person. And notice, I mean, you're not a somber person.
I've got my somber moments, just like anybody, just like the rest of us. But I'm generally speaking a happy person. I would
Oh, that's
say.
good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely things that are not good, but I choose to live
Not
my life.
take it
Yeah, I
bad.
choose to live my life in a way where I can enjoy what I'm doing and being and how I'm being in the world. And
Okay.
I enjoy people. I enjoy people so much. I love getting to know people. I love connecting with people. That's really important to me.
Oh yeah, I met you where we
met at
meet
that-
people.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
I don't know if you made any good connection there, but you met me.
I
which
met
is good
you.
enough.
You were a great connection.
So you can put that on your blog, huh?
That's right. When I
Okay.
come to write it.
Yeah. Oh, when you start your blog.
When
Okay.
I start another thing that I haven't done.
Yeah, you have a lot of
Right.
things on your plate,
Oh,
right?
I do. I do.
So yeah, it sounds very interesting. I did one time voiceover for International Contact in Oakland, and they do book people of foreign languages to do voiceover occasionally. So they're still around. I was surprised they're still around.
Oh, that's great.
Like I did it like over like 20 years ago, and and I was surprised that it's still
And
around.
they're still there.
Hmm.
That's
So
cool.
you might want to connect with them and send them a sample of your
Sure.
voice.
And what
It's
is it
called
again?
International Contact.
Oh, okay. But they're looking for people who can translate stuff. Is that what they're doing?
No,
or-
no, they do both. They do interpreting, translation, and voiceovers.
Oh, I see.
So when they have
Interesting.
voiceovers, they send them to a studio.
Okay. Okay.
So,
That's
yeah.
great.
So yeah, I was surprised. You live in the East Bay anyway, right?
I do. Yeah.
So they're right next door to you.
Yeah. Just about. Exactly.
So let's talk maybe about do most voiceover people need some training or is innate?
If you're asking me, I would say training is always a good thing.
Okay,
But then I'm coming from the perspective of having been trained myself, and
on the job.
yeah, well, no, I mean, I trained as an actor, and so as an actor, I'm able to do stuff with my voice
Okay,
that lends itself to working on mic.
I see.
But if
Okay.
one isn't even an actor, and you think, oh, I read to my kids every night, that's not necessarily.
it.
That's not necessarily all of it. It's definitely a part of it, and it helps. But everything helps. You know, it is a profession, it is a skill, and it's a learned skill in some respect, and it's also a talent that one can either have or not have. So even though you may not have a natural talent for it, you could learn how to do certain parts of the job, perhaps. But
So you train people on voices.
I do. I train people on how to work on mic.
Okay.
I train people in terms of their acting technique, since that's what I'm good at anyway.
Okay.
And as a voice talent, the other name for it is voice actor. You're an actor. So
Okay.
even though you're not working on stage or on film, you are still using the mic as your stage. And that's what's important for people to remember and to know how to make that work for them. So it doesn't matter if I come to my studio in the morning and I'm in my PJs. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I've got makeup on or not. But what does matter is that my voice is ready to work on mic. And it's pretty rare that I can work in the morning because my voice sounds terrible and it's not warmed up yet. So I choose to, when I'm recording, I choose to record in the afternoon. That's
When you
that's-
warmed up.
When I've been warmed up, I've talked a little bit here and
Okay,
there
yeah,
on the
that's
phone.
true. The
or-
voice changes
the
if you
voice
warm it up.
definitely changes, and at nighttime it's the same thing. I used to be I used to do auditions at night sometimes. In fact, I can remember submitting an audition for an agent, and I put I put you can't believe, but I'm actually doing this at 1 a.m. I just saw the audition come in, and I just thought I would do it, and it was only because I could feel that my voice was still awake enough,
Okay.
and I had the right energy for it. I just decided to go for it, and I did. But I don't normally do something like that because your voice does change through the day, and it's important to be aware of that. And to be aware of that, you really have to have some sense of how that all works. It's like I wouldn't want to have a doctor do surgery on me when he hasn't been a trained doctor. He's not a trained
course.
surgeon,
Of
right?
course, of course.
And it's the same with voice work. And the competition out there is beyond intense. There's a load of competition. So if you're thinking you're going to get into doing voice work without having had any experience or training whatsoever, then probably it's not going to work.
Yeah, and also if you listen to the radio, it's the same person doing different commercials. And
Sure.
and they hire always the same person. Some advertising
Right.
agency hire always the same person.
Right.
And you totally recognize them. They do not mask their voice.
Yeah, yeah.
You can tell it's the same person
Yeah.
yesterday and it's the same
Yeah,
person
that's right.
for another brand or product.
Yeah.
Maybe because the advertising agency have them as favorites.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very difficult field to break into, for sure.
Oh, but once you are liked and people do like to listen to your commercial and people don't turn you off, then the advertising agency say, yeah, we get a lot of response from the ad you did for us, so we're going to do it again with you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That
Because they
definitely.
get paid by the number of how many times people listen to it.
Right, exactly. And don't turn it down.
Yeah. No, or the company say, yeah, keep playing that ad. Keep
Right.
playing that ad with that person.
Right, right.
So if you stay on the ad for more than a month, I mean, you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and some brands also keep the same person because people recognize the brand connected with that person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly.
Oh, I remember, although sometimes the owner does the ad for himself, right?
Uh-huh. Sure, and that's usually not real
Not good, not good.
That's there. I will not name the person, but there is somebody who does.
Himself.
Oh,
Well, I can name
God.
it. Are you thinking of Zimmerman?
no,
The guy who
it's,
did the Manway House?
Oh no, it's very similar. It's jewelry.
Oh, yeah, it's the same. It's the
It's
owner doing it.
Yeah, and it's not only. Yeah, well, I don't want to be rude. That would
No,
be,
no,
that would be
but
rude.
sometimes the owner wants to be on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's his
and
money.
right, it's his money, and that's cool. You know, I think that's fine, depending on. I think if it were myself, if it were me, and it was my business, if I didn't want somebody else to do that commercial spot, and I wanted to do it myself, my way of going about it would be a little bit different. I would have somebody come and coach me on what
Doing
makes
it better.
on doing it better, doing it so that so one wants to listen to it rather than turn it down.
Okay.
That's the big difference. I mean, I think it's fine for people to do their own spots. It's just that if they're not skilled at it and they're not really sure where to put the emphasis, or they
might lose customers.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be really beneficial for them to get some kind of guidance or coaching right there on the spot. They don't have to take classes necessarily, but that would be my suggestion for people who want to do their own commercial
I
spots.
don't know if Mancini Mattress does it himself.
I
Or,
don't know.
okay. Anyway, there's a few brands where you hear always the same person,
Right,
so it must be the
right.
owner. So anyway, so have you ever tried to get into the commercials where you do a commercial?
Yeah, I've done a whole bunch of commercials. I did commercials for Pandora for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then they play it and then play it and then play it.
I guess I've never heard them. I mean, I was doing commercials for them. I also did commercials for Hay House.
Yeah.
Hay House is a huge publishing company that's out of Southern California.
Okay.
And if you're familiar, do you remember
They
Louise?
do spirituality and stuff
yeah,
like that.
health stuff.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember Louise Hay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
She's
her.
still alive.
Yes, she is.
So
She
you did
is.
something for her?
Yeah, I did lots of commercial spots for their. They have a radio station,
Okay.
so I've done lots of commercial spots for them.
Yeah.
And so I do specific kinds of commercial stuff. And the commercial work that I did for Pandora was heard all over the place. I don't know if any of them were heard in this area. Some of them were just, specifically for a school or
No.
that was just located
And you
in the
did
area.
a few of those? Okay.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch. I did it over the course of several years for
Okay.
Pandora.
So that's good. That's good. So that you got into that business. Maybe you did for spirituality because you are also into spirituality yourself.
Yeah, possibly. Actually, in fact, you asked what my next project is. I'm actually sort of in between projects for the same company. They're doing. I guess they would be promotion. I don't know if they're promotional videos, but they're videos for a website for a school here in the city in San Francisco that's to do with healing, different kinds of healing modalities.
Okay.
So these are interviews they're doing with the different people who are teaching those classes, and then I'm
Okay.
doing the voiceover that's in between those interviews.
Okay.
So that's kind of fun
Oh, you
to
tell
do.
people stay tuned for the next part of the interview or something?
Well, so in other words, people, somebody who's teaching or leading meditation, and they're talking about the benefits of of meditation,
Okay, so
or they're talking about benefits of qigong, or
something like that, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing in their school.
Okay.
And then I come in with an overall voiceover
Of what
that's
it's,
about why this sort of thing is
about.
good for you, and so
It adds a little variety to the show.
yeah, I guess, yeah, right,
That's good.
yeah. So
Yeah. Maybe you can start your own show. Why not?
Why not? Why not? It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I did a show actually.
Yeah.
I had a show similar to what you're doing. I did an interview show up in Mendocino
Oh, okay.
for a while,
that's
which
a
was
nice
really
area.
fun. Which was really it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So I
really
don't know
great.
which radio station in San Francisco does that, or Berkeley can do it for you. They have, free radio station there.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So
yeah.
you just call them, say, can I have a half hour airtime?
Yeah. Yeah.
They might give it to you.
Yeah.
Or if they don't have any free airtime, they say, we'll call you as soon as one is free.
Right. Right.
So
Well, I've been asked to do some interview show for KPFA, but I've got lots of things happening right now, so the timing has not been good. I'm about to go out of town for a
that's
few
right.
weeks. So
That's right. So maybe when you come back, you can look into that
Yes.
if you like doing it. If you don't,
I love doing it.
Oh, you
It's so
do?
much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally love doing
you like
it.
taking calls sometimes. And
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people ask you, I don't know, they call you and they ask you, hey, how do I get into voiceover?
That's
Can
right.
you help me? Things like that. All right. So it was fun to interview you too.
This was totally fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes,
and,
you too.
And
Just to say that my website, which I know you
Oh,
have
yeah.
up there,
Yeah.
my website is
ToniOrans.com.
Yes, ToniOrans.com. It's a little bit on the older side. It's about to be updated, seriously updated.
Yeah.
So,
You
but
mean you're going to change a little bit the picture of the clowns there? I mean the...
oh, it's all going to be changed. It's all going to be made much more for this century than it was when it came out in the 1920s.
Oh, there's pictures of mimes, right?
There's pictures of masks.
Masks.
Yeah, but
But
it will
those
all,
are for mimes, right? No?
no,
Not necessarily?
Not necessarily. I collect masks. I have masks from all over the world.
Oh.
So I decided that I wanted, when I created that website originally, it was to do with not wanting my own face to be there because I didn't want a preconceived idea of what I sounded like.
Okay.
by seeing what I look like. So I decided to put masks because
Is there voiceover on the website?
yeah, there is.
few
There's there's a few samples, but there'll be more, and the website will look a little bit more like it's from today as opposed to, like I said, like from before.
Okay, sounds good. Look forward to it.
And I'm on LinkedIn, of course, and all that.
All right. Did I connect with you on LinkedIn or not yet?
I don't think we've connected. But
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for inviting me on the show. This has been so much fun, Aline. Thank you.
Yes, okay, my
Great.
pleasure. So let's reconnect maybe one day. You never know, we might meet again anyway.
Good. I hope so.
So I go to networking meeting a lot, but this coming Tuesday I won't be able to make it. But
Oh, is it on Tuesday?
It's
Yeah.
this Tuesday coming
Yeah,
up.
Tuesday is when I'm on my plane, on my flight.
Okay, so you won't be there
I
either.
won't be there either. I'll
Okay.
be waving from up above.
Maybe for the month of October I can make it. And so thank you so much. So this
Thank you.
was Toni Orans.
Orans,
You
yes.
pronounce the S. You pronounce the S.
Yeah.
And she is voiceover specialist, I would say, voiceover actress. And hopefully we'll hear more of her.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we can tune in somewhere to listen to you.
Sure, you can check me out on audible.com.
Audible.com. It
Right.
says your name.
I have a
below,
number of books. You just
and
do
they
a search.
put your name.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, we can type your name on
can
Audible and
yeah,
find you.
Yeah, absolutely.
all right,
And there's
all right.
other things too out there online. Yeah, for
All right,
sure.
so
for
type
sure.
Toni Orans.
YouTube has me.
Audible, and you'll find her. Then
Yeah.
it sounds like the perfect way to find her. So thank you so much.
Yes, I
and-
look forward to it. I look forward to all you finding me.
Thanks very much, Aline. That was really, really fun.
Okay, thank you.